Crafternoon, friends. I'm Ms. Natalie from the Accokeek branch of Prince George's County Memorial Library System, and welcome to our Crafternoon. Today's craft is going to be autumn leaf art. We're going to be making some pictures with autumn leaves, and then we're going to be showing you how to make them permanent by kind of laminating them with tape you probably have at home. We're going to need a few things to get started. We're going to need some autumn leaves. Now you're going to want your adult to help you with this to make sure that the leaves you're getting don't have any mold on them, aren't poison ivy leaves, because poison ivy leaves still exist in the autumn. You want to make sure you're getting some nice, clean, dry leaves. You're also going to want some paper. That's going to be the backdrop for our art. You're going to want some scissors, preferably safety scissors, children's art scissors, but I've got these scissors, so these are what I'm going to use. We're going to use these to cut the paper down to the size we want, and sometimes to cut the leaves too. To add details, we're going to use some markers. You could also use pencils or pens or crayons. And to laminate them at the end, we're going to use some packing tape. That should be everything we need. Let's get started. Now, step one for me is to take a look at the leaves that I've got and see what they look like. Earlier this year, I made some turkeys. They're turkeys from behind because I wanted to draw their faces and then have their big floofy tails. I also made this autumn fairy. She is flying over some fields. And I made this fish too. I think I'm going to try to make another fish today because I like how this one turned out. Let's see if we can find any leaves that will help me. I know this is the paper that I'm going to use, so I need to make sure that the leaves fit on this paper. Got a very spiky leaf here. That could be good for some fins, maybe. Got this pretty red leaf, but it's very curly. It'll break a little bit if I try to flatten it out. Got this nice, large, mostly flat shape. It fits on the page. That could work. And I've got several of these long, skinny ones. Maybe seaweed? Maybe these could be seaweed. Let's see. If we take the scissors and cut off some shapes, we could have some pretty cool fins like that. Yeah, that's looking a little bit fishy. I could have one, I could have one on top, because fish usually have kind of a little fin coming out the side there. Yeah, that looks pretty fishy. Now you can tape this down, and that's what we're going to do today, just in the interest of time. But if you glue it down, that is going to work a little bit better because you can cover the whole back of it in glue and it'll be stuck down evenly. In the interest of time, we are using tape, and that is going to make it not quite as perfectly flat, but I think it's going to make for a little bit better viewing experience for us. I'm going to cut a few pieces of tape off of that roll that I showed you earlier. And we are going to tack this fish down. I'm going to roll the tape up so that it's sticky on all sides, making a little tape too, so that it will stick to the paper and to the fish. And the first thing I'm going to do is these fins, because they are in back, and then the body of the fish is in front. I'm putting it so there's some tape sticking out, and that will help with the fish body too. I'm making sure this doesn't go off the end. It's not a real big deal if it does, but it's much neater if it's all on the paper. I might have to move these because it's difficult to tell the exact shape of the leaf you're using. Let's put this back on here and see. No, I think that'll still work. Now this top one is thinner. It's more delicate. It's already beginning to crack a little bit. So I have to be pretty careful. And it's fine if your leaf breaks. That just means there's a little bit extra taping you're going to need to do. Or gluing if you go that route. I really like making art with things like this because leaves are free. You just go outside and find them on the ground and pick them up and nobody even minds. And not all art supplies are free, so it's good to find free art supplies when you can get them. I'm going to put one more over by his face, and there. A little tiny piece fell off, and that's fine. There's my general shape. It's stuck down, it's not moving. And this is enough. If we want to just be done here, we can put this up on the refrigerator door and everyone's going to think it looks great. But I'm going to use this marker to give him a couple details here, and then we're going to add that fin on the side, and we're going to see how that looks. Nice little fishy eye there. Give him a couple fish gills, I guess. I think those probably go up further. Another tube of tape, and we're just going to, did I have it like that? I don't remember, but that's how it's going to go. Just going to put him right there. Yes, a very fine fish indeed. But we did mention the possibility of seaweed earlier, so we're going to try that. This is kind of big. Maybe I'll take a smaller one. We're going to need some small tape so that it doesn't stick out a bunch behind. It's okay if you can see the tape a little. No one thinks this is a real fish. They all know you're doing art. But it looks a little bit neater if not much tape can be seen. I don't have any other really small leaves, so I'm going to take a bigger leaf and I'm going to cut it. this, I would like to keep my seaweed all kind of the same size. I think it'll look nice that way. All right, stick this gentleman over here. And then we'll put one of these guys next to him, because we've got some extra white space over here on this side. Yes, this looks quite reasonable. What else does he need? On the other fish, I gave him some bubbles. I think I'm going to give this one some bubbles too. Just so everybody knows, this is a fish. Excellent. Now this is lovely art, and since the leaves are very dry, it will keep as long as you don't keep messing with it. Since it's fragile, if you played with it a lot, it would keep cracking. But if you leave it alone, this will stay just like this for a good long while. If we want to make it into something that will last a little bit longer, something, say, like a bookmark that could go between the pages of books and be safe, we're going to want to cover it with some tape. The same kind of tape that I've been using, but it doesn't have to be that kind of tape. It could be anything that is pretty wide, because you want to cover it without a lot of seams, and you want to prevent the air getting in, and you want to prevent the leaves getting out. This will work for us today. Earlier I said that we want to be using some nice dry leaves, and let me show you why. When a leaf hasn't dried yet, it's still got moisture in it. And that's going to affect how flat it is, and it's going to affect how your bookmark's going to turn out. This one, I used very dry leaves. It is all set to go. This one, I picked a couple leaves off of a bush because they were bright red and I thought they looked neat. And the moisture affected the paper. So this one isn't going to last as long. It's damp in there. We want nice dry leaves. In order to laminate this, we're going to want the tape to go slightly off the edges, and I don't want to put tape on my table. That could harm the table, and it could make the tape less sticky. So I'm putting a cutting board underneath. Any similar surface, this one is plastic and smooth, will help you to make sure that your table is protected and also that your taping goes well. I got this one at the dollar store. You're going to want to pull a piece of tape that is longer than your paper so that it can wrap around. And you're going to want to press down gently because this is a dry and delicate leaf underneath. It's touching the top of the paper beyond the leaf, so you know you've got a good seal, and you want to just press down gently all the way around. We want to cover the whole of the artwork, so make sure your tape overlaps with the next piece just a little bit. And just press down gently. It is going to crackle. We are dealing with autumn leaves, and crackling is what they do, but it's going to be okay. We're going to overlap this one a little bit with the previous one, and then gently press everything down. I miscalculated and there's a tiny little strip there. I need one more piece of tape. Packing tape is always so loud. Good heavens. We're going to want that to overlap. And then press that down. I'm going to give everything a nice press to make sure everything is sealed. All right, I'm going to peel this guy up. Always so loud. And then I'm going to wrap the tape around onto the back. You could cover the back in tape too. It's not really necessary. Uh-oh, cat hair. And I'm going to use the scissors to trim the end so that there's no extra tape sticking out. Oh, there's a little up at the top where it wrapped around there too. All right, so the tape is going past the leaves at every edge. It should be nicely sealed in there. And now this is ready to be a bookmark for me. Since it's good and dry, I let these leaves dry a couple days after I got them off the ground, just in case there was dew or anything like that on them. Since it's good and dry, this is safe for me to use in my decorations if I've got fall decorations around, and it's safe for me to use as a bookmark too. If it turns out yours weren't dry, don't put them somewhere where the moisture could get on something else. Make sure they're good and dry first. So, I hope you've enjoyed doing this art project with me today. It's always the most fun, I think, when we can do art together, and especially when we don't have to go to the store first. This is all stuff that you probably have around your house or in your yard. Thank you so much for joining me today, and enjoy the rest of your autumn. Bye!